All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fundamental shift in cybercrime. It turns out the criminal underworld is taking a page, or maybe the entire playbook, right from Silicon Valley. They're using AI not just as a tool, but as a full-blown product.
So let's just start with this one idea, because it really frames everything we're about to talk about. What happens when organized crime starts acting like a modern tech company? With marketing, product tiers, and even customer service?
And that brings us to the core concept, criminal software as a service, or criminal SaaS. We're way beyond just selling a dodgy piece of software one time. Now we're seeing professional, subscription-based services that offer up criminal capability on demand.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this business model. We're going to look at some hard evidence that shows exactly how scammers have copied the tech industry's strategy, step by step.
A perfect example of this is a product that's been branded and marketed just like something you'd see on Product Hunt. It's called WormGPT, and that's basically a brand label for these AI models that have had all the safety guardrails removed, packaged specifically for things like writing incredibly convincing phishing emails or even creating malware.
And check this out. This just perfectly illustrates the business model. This data from Trend Micro shows WormGPT being sold with different pricing tiers. It looks exactly like any software subscription you'd sign up for. There's a standard plan for about $100 a month, and then a pricier private setup for bigger operations. This isn't some back alley deal. It's a commercial product launch.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how they're distributing these tools. The old way, it involved trying to navigate hidden, clunky services on Tor. It was a huge pain, especially for newcomers. But the new way? It's all happening on mainstream platforms like Telegram. This just crushes the barrier to entry and lets them offer real-time support and updates, just like a real company.
So what are people actually getting with these subscriptions? You have to understand it's not about creating some kind of genius super hack. Not at all. It's about something much more practical, labor efficiency. It's about using AI to do the grunt work, to scale up old-school crimes with a speed and reach that was just impossible before.
And the key here is that AI removes huge bottlenecks. I mean, think about it. As Europol points out, it can instantly write scan messages in dozens of languages, opening up a global pool of targets. It allows for scary, realistic impersonations. And the FBI reports it can even create convincing voice messages that actually build rapport with victims. It just makes scams cheaper, faster, and way more effective.
So let's walk through what this looks like in practice. Picture this. An attacker uses a service like WormGPT to blast out thousands of perfectly written, convincing emails. Then, an AI chatbot actually handles the replies, having a conversation and keeping the illusion going. And then, for the final punch, they use an AI voice clone to make a quick phone call and close the deal. Every single step is an automated, scalable service they just paid for.
And listen, this is not just some theory. Law enforcement is seeing this play out right now. Europol's latest threat assessment puts it in black and white. Criminals are actively using AI-driven scams, paired with modern payment systems, to hit victims on a massive scale.
But here's where it gets even more serious. This next phase moves beyond just making old scams more efficient. Now, it's about directly attacking the very systems of digital trust and identity that our entire online world depends on.
As Interpol has reported, we're now in the era of deepfake as a service. It's exactly what it sounds like. Criminals don't need to be tech geniuses anymore. They can just buy the capability to create fake videos and clone voices on demand, often tailored to defeat specific security checks.
So the real goal here is to industrialize identity theft. These criminal services are now bundling the whole shebang. Everything an attacker needs to get past your bank's security. You've got tools to beat voice and video verification, fake documents to pass those know your customer checks, and even automated systems for creating fake accounts to launder the stolen money through. It's a one-stop shop for fraud.
And you might be thinking, okay, this is a problem for the IT department, but it's not even close. The industrialization of this kind of crime has really profound and, frankly, disturbing consequences for every single part of our society.
And the harm here goes so much deeper than just money. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, in just a 2-year span, they received over 70,000 reports of child sexual exploitation that involved generative AI. It's being used as a horrifying force multiplier for some of the worst crimes imaginable.
And if you run a business, the risks are incredibly direct. Payment fraud becomes way more sophisticated. Taking over a customer's account gets easier than ever. Bringing on new customers becomes a minefield, and your operational costs, they're going to skyrocket when your teams have to investigate every little thing because the basic signals of identity, a voice, a face, can no longer be trusted.
Okay, so faced with this kind of industrial-scale threat, what on earth can be done? Well, the evidence doesn't point to one single magic bullet. It points to a smart, layered defense.
The very first principle here is a tough one to swallow. We have to accept that our old signals of trust are breaking down. A voice or a face on a video call can no longer be the only proof of who someone is. That proof has to be layered with other signals, like the reputation of their device or their behavioral patterns. And for payments, it means you have to use a separate channel, like a phone call to a number you already know is good, to verify any changes.
Our defenses also have to change based on where these criminals are actually working. That means security teams need to be monitoring channels like Telegram, not just some mythical dark web. And as Interpol points out, we need to invest in new forensic tools that can spot the tiny digital fingerprints and metadata clues that these AI systems often leave behind.
So if there's one crucial point to take away, it's this. Our whole idea of the dark web as some hidden, mysterious corner of the internet, it's just outdated. What we are witnessing is a commercial revolution in crime, and it is happening right out in the open, on the same platforms that many of us use every single day.
And that really leaves us with a critical question we all have to start thinking about. The debate is over. It's not if criminals will use AI. They already are, and they're doing it at scale. So the real question, the one we have to answer now, is in this new world of synthetic reality, which of our signals of trust can we actually still count on? And which ones are about to collapse completely?